Good morning, what's shaking, what's happening? Welcome back to Tasty Bites Time of Travels. Today's day 102 for Holland America Cruise Around the World. And today we're in Alexandria, the port city for Cairo, Egypt. Come join us. Look at how beautiful Alexandria is. Now, Alexandria is a stop all on its own. However, the pyramids of Egypt and the brand new gem museum, Grand Egyptian Museum is what it stands for, they're a few hours down the road. This is a long day. It's actually 6 in the morning right now. It seems very bright for 6, but it is 6 in the morning. It's been this bright since about 5. And the ship has not yet cleared, but we are in port and we are ready to go. We had room service this morning. It was really funny. They don't normally do pre-ordered room service till 6 in the morning. I wrote on the thing I would be good with a 5:45 a.m. room service. The guy knocked on the door at 5 in the morning. We were still asleep. We had to turn on the light. We were awake, but we weren't quite ready to get up. And I answered the door. He goes, "I am so sorry. There are so many room service orders for so early this morning." He's like, "Do you mind this early?" And I was like, "No, we happen to be up. Come on in." So he's very appreciative. But this looks beautiful. So we have a private tour scheduled for today to take us down to the pyramids and the museum. We're going to see how that goes. So let's get this day started. Hopefully the money exchange is open in the terminal, because that's really the only thing I need. The tour doesn't start for another hour. But we need to beat all the Holland excursions off the ship, because there may or may not be an immigration. And then I want to get that money exchanged so I can tip the tour providers. So let's go. First stop on the tour, the new Grand Egyptian Museum, the gem. Not technically open yet. It does its full opening in July, but parts of it are open now, so it's included in the tour. So let's go see. Alright, dinner for me this evening is this cabbage bacon soup, and I got a little softy roll, and then steak, mashed potatoes, and carrots. I am so tired, I'm not even sure if this is what I really want to eat, but this is what I got at the Lido, so this is what we're going with. Alright, for C, they've got like a little food festival thing going on outside. So she got like some pita bread with some lemon chicken and some olives and spaghetti cucumber salad. Basically, she got a pita sandwich without the yogurt sauce. So that looks really good, though. That looks amazing. Wish I would have gotten that. All right, next box has falafel, some sort of thing on a skewer, and then red beet hummus and purple beet hummus. I don't know. And then this box is seafood paella. So looks good. All right, C just went and got a box from every food truck station. So this is the dessert box. She can't remember what anything is, but she got one of each thing. They look good. And with that, future Meredith from the next day, we'll talk about the museums and say we're calling it a night and the pyramids. Yeah, it's the next day. Look at how bright it is outside. It's a beautiful day, actually. That was a long day. We walked off the ship at 6:30 and in the morning, and we literally stepped back on at 6:30 in the evening, and that was only because we did the private tour. The people that took the bus tours did not come back until maybe 8 o'clock on some of them, so definitely a long day. And then I couldn't talk a lot because we had the private tour and he was forever talking to us, so it was just kind of awkward to try to repeat what he said, and he didn't really want to be videotaped. So let's talk about the museum and the pyramids in Cairo. First off, it is a long drive from Alexandria to Cairo. It's at least 2 hours. It's more like 2.5, even more with traffic, which is why we were up and out so early so we could beat the traffic. There's not a lot to see on the way from Alexandria to Cairo. In fact, the road that you take is called Farm Road because it's nothing but like farmland. There's orange groves. There's they grow grapes and olives and things like that. There's some processing plants. There is a massive correctional facility, and then that's about it. That's all you see for about 2 hours, and they have some, rest stop areas. They're called oasis, which I thought was hysterically funny because, in the middle of the desert, you see an oasis. So not a lot to see. On the way down to Cairo, I think the tour guide, myself, and C all fell asleep, and it was just the driver driving the car, because originally the tour is billed as they'll stop halfway through. We never stopped on the way down. We actually never stopped on the way back either. But we never stopped on the way down because everyone was kind of asleep. I was kind of in and out of it, and I know where we should have stopped. It was at this big, major, rest stop area that had a bunch of, gas stations and stuff, because you could see the driver, think, should I pull off here? And then he just kept right on driving because everyone was asleep. So, yeah, not a very exciting drive, but it's a toll road, so there's not a lot of traffic on that road specifically. But, get into Cairo. Our first stop was the Grand Egyptian Museum. Now, it's in its soft opening. It doesn't fully open until July 3rd, but it was still magnificent. Now, the website will tell you do not buy tickets through a third-party vendor unless you're buying through a formal tour like what we did. The King Tut Gallery is still not open yet. Another side gallery was not open yet. There's an entire bottom side that you can tell is still under construction. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a rotating exhibit or something like that, but this is when our guide really came alive. So the reason they spent this $1 billion and this 20 years, 25 years building this museum is Egypt has so many artifacts. It is so old. It is so well preserved, so well kept, and such a demand that their original museum in Cairo, which is still open right now, by the way, you can still go there. They haven't transferred everything over yet. They didn't have enough to display all their artifacts, and they were having to loan them out to museums all over the world, which I know museums work that way because Walt Disney World and Walt's Dream, or whatever that thing is in Hollywood Studios, they're part of the museum circulation, and the Walt Disney Family Museum out in San Francisco. They're all part of that circulation of museum artifacts and things like that. So Egypt wants their stuff back, but they needed somewhere to put it because why are you going to ask for all this stuff back if you don't have anywhere to display it? So they came up with this idea of this grand museum. They only have to show stuff from Egypt and it fills it. It's bigger than the Louvre. So, and everything's well kept, maintained, all that fun stuff. So they wanted all their stuff back to show the way that they wanted to, the way that was dignified to Egypt and things like that. Great concept. Great concept. Also, eventually, and he showed us the model for it, the Egyptian museum's over here, the pyramids are over here, and in between it is some land where they're building like a restaurant, shopping, hotel complex, and they're building a bridge so that you can walk from the museum to the pyramids and vice versa. So they're going to make it like this entire like vacation destination sort of thing. Neat concept. So museum, amazing, very well done, very grand. Like you walked in and you see these massive statues that are thousands of years old, and or not thousands, hundreds, well, however old they are, and it's just overwhelming. The museum is overwhelming, and it would honestly take, even with what was open for us, it would take a couple of days. And he even said that. He said that's why they have built such a big food court and things like that, because they know that the museum is so stimulating that people need to take a break and will want to come back to finish, that it's just too much to take in one day. I think once King Tut opens and once whatever is on the bottom level and that last gallery, which the gallery is not massively big, but they're still big. They're bigger than some museums we've been in, the gallery itself. I think you would need like 2 or 3 days to go through. So building a bridge to the pyramids and allowing that access and things like that, I think you could fly into Cairo and just do that complex for like 3 days and be kind of content. Maybe just do a couple other things around Cairo. But, you know, the pyramids in the museum, that's what you want to do, other than the Nile River. So amazing. The exhibits were amazing. It was fascinating. He was really interesting to have a guide through it to kind of explain things a little bit more, because not everything has a placard yet because they're in their soft opening. They're still trying to figure things out and they're still designing. And actually the tour guides would start having these massive talks with each other. And it's because things were still getting moved around and they weren't sure what was open, and that's why, because its soft opening hasn't been open but for a few months or so, and they're still completing things day by day. He said the first day he went in, it was only like a few galleries open, then it was more, and then it was more. So every day they're building, or there's rumors of they're going to finally open this and things like that. So if you go in the soft opening and you have a guide, don't get offended if they start talking to each other. They're just trying to figure out what's next. Museum, beautiful. The stuff was amazing. He explained how, like, backpacks, they found those in hieroglyphics that came from Egypt. The Gucci label came from Egypt. The Oscars were the statues. It was a lot of stuff. Jewelry was really big, and it's the jewelry style that C likes. So I was like, are you sure you don't have some Egyptian in your family? Like I don't understand. And I will say, I don't know why it never occurred to me, because I know Rome was a big empire and Greece is right by Egypt. But I didn't realize the impact that Rome and Greece had on Egypt. Kind of not in the ancient Egypt times, but in the new ancient times, things like that. But just a stunning museum. If you ever get the opportunity to go, definitely go. And it does help to have a guide. And I will tell you, they had guides in almost every language available, either through the museum or through third parties. We heard a lot of different languages going on. And some of the things, like they had these little movies, like they had this hieroglyphic section where it went through and it was very Disney-like, almost like art of animation, the restaurant on their cruise ships, where it would just do the stages of how you animate. So it talk about how they whitewash it, and then they would draw the lines, and then they would do this, and then they would detail them with color. It would show those steps. So I thought that was a really, really interesting way to do it. So they had a few things around that they kind of articulated with movies. So really, really neat. I would 100% go back after July 3rd when it's fully open. 100% go back when it's a full complex and you could do a whole trip there. There are some hotels around the museum and stuff like that, but it looks like Cairo's still building, or they're expanding Cairo, or it's under development. There was a lot of construction going on as we were coming in from Giza into, because really you're in Giza, you're not in Cairo. There's a lot of new developments going on and a lot of like shopping centers and things like that. So you can see that area is expanding, probably in anticipation for when all of that opens for tourism. So then after that we had lunch. It was a nice lunch at that buffet restaurant. Drinks were not included, so I did have to pay for them. I got a strawberry drink thinking it was going to be similar to what we got in South Africa. It was not. It was literally pureed strawberries. So that wasn't very good, but the drinks weren't pricey. I think I paid $4 for the drinks for her club soda and my strawberry. And then we went to some oil shop. You know, you always got to have a shop and stop, so that's what it was. And then we went to the pyramids. Now, the pyramids, they've changed. They've built a proper, like, welcome center entrance with a little museum and things like that. That's not used to it's not how it used to be, but it is how it is now. And now they've created this entire, like, hop-on, hop-off bus system, almost like Kennedy Space Center has a bus tour like that that's included. He was not happy. He kept trying to talk the guards into letting us keep the car. He was unsuccessful, so we had to do the hop-on, hop-off bus. So we ended up doing, like, we asked for the streamlined pyramid experience. It was good. It was good. They're magnificent. It's one of those places that I never thought I would ever make it, and you learn about them as a little kid. And it was one of those places that I didn't realize was so high on C's bucket list, because she thought she would never make it, so she never bothered to tell me it was something that she wanted to see. But it is overwhelming, and to see them and to be able to touch them, because right now you can't climb them, but you can still touch the Great Pyramid. And I think you can touch the second pyramid. You can't get to the third one, and you can't touch the Sphinx. You can't get close enough to touch the Sphinx. But just overwhelming, amazing. And then I jokingly said to the guy, I said, you know, I always learned as a child that the pyramids were overrated, because you would look at the pyramids and you could see the McDonald's in the background. He goes, oh, it's not McDonald's anymore, it's KFC. And sure enough, I like turn around and there's a KFC Pizza Hut. And he said, that's true. They did allow industry to build up until a street away from the pyramids. And we actually went out that back gate, because that's the gate he normally uses. And there is a bustling street right there with, you know, some smaller hotels and some businesses and shops and vendors and things like that. And the pyramids are full of the vendors and things like that. They didn't really bother us. It was part of having the guide. They didn't come around to us. But overwhelming, beautiful. It was a gorgeous day for weather. So it was definitely a stop best had. We stopped at a small souvenir stop on the way out, just because he kept looking for, he's like, I'm trying to design the trip for free toilets so that you don't have to pay to use the restroom anywhere. And he said, there's a souvenir stop that will let you use it for free. You don't have to buy anything. But we ended up buying a couple souvenirs, because, you know, that was the souvenir stop for Egypt. And then we went back to Alexandria. And, you know, Alexandria is a bustling city at night. We had no idea. So totally worth it. Glad we didn't do the bus tour, because they didn't show back up till like 8 o'clock at night. Haven't seen anyone that I know that's been on it, but in the coffee chat this morning, people said it was amazing. So definitely worth our visit to the pyramids. And that was the day. I had dinner, and then we called it a night. I was so tired, so tired. If I ever found myself in this part of the world again on a cruise, I would just stay in Alexandria and go to the library. Now, I saw some friends at breakfast this morning, and they did the library tour, and they said it was amazing. It was totally worth it. If I ever flew over to this area again, I would just stay in Cairo, and I would make sure to time it when the museum's fully open and all that stuff. But great day. Really enjoyed it. So tomorrow is a sea day, which is actually today, but tomorrow is a sea day. It is our final sea day and then it's not our final sea day. Then we have Greece, which is an debarkation point. So not a lot going on tomorrow, but trust me, I'm sure we're going to have a great day, because I'm in it right now, and it looks like it's going to be a good day. So make sure you hit that notification button, like, subscribe, and all that fun social stuff, and keep following us along as we're almost on the final leg of our cruise around the world. So have a great night. Bye.